Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and do with question number 2. So in question number 2, it's kind of the same setup. You have a 7-digit student ID as the input, and you are going to tell me what the output is going to be. So in this case, we don't have any subroutines. It's fairly easy, but it does have arrays. So we have an array which is buffer, and the number of characters in buffer is buffer size, which is defined to be 10. So now, let's go ahead and analyze the program first, because that is the most important part. We start with the first loop. In the first loop, I is initialized to 0, and to stay in the loop, we have a conjunction expression. This is a conjunction expression, which means the first part has to be true, and then the second part also has to be true. The first part has to be true, but that's fairly easy to understand because we just want to be able to read a character. The second part is true as long as the character that we have just read is not the line feed character. So in other words, we're just reading in characters by characters until we see the line feed character. The post operation is plus I, which means we are just adding 1 to I. So I would go from 0 to 7. In this case, when it exits the loop, it's going to be 7, but only the first 7 letters of the buffer is actually read from the file. Well, I take it back. It would actually read the line feed too, but we're not going to process the line feed character. And the reason why we're not going to process the line feed character is because we take a snapshot of I after the loop, which is going to be 7. And in the second loop, we are going to stay in the loop as long as I is less than length minus 1, which is 7 minus 1, which is 6. So we are really just only going to process the first 6 characters. Or I should say I would only go from 0 to 6 by the time it gets to 7. It will go from 0 to 5, excuse me. I goes from 0 to 5. By the time it gets to 6, it's going to exit the loop. And right here we have a equation here to determine the value of buffer bracket I. The subtraction of ASCII 0 from buffer I is just converting the ASCII code into the value of the ASCII code. So it's going to be here and also here. So basically we are adding 2 digits that we are reading in, and then we add 7, and then we take the entire sum and multiply 10. In the next line, we print out that particular buffer line. So if we go to the output here, we are going to see the actual output. Okay. So buffer bracket I is, now this is when I equals to 0. So assuming the student ID is the same as this one here. So we are going to be adding 1 and 4 and 7. So 1 plus 4 plus 7 is 12. 12 mod 10 is 2. So that's going to be the first one. And then the next line is, now this you have to be careful. Well, maybe not. Okay, so the next one is going to be these 2 digits, 4 and 3. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus this 7 is 14. 14 mod 10 is 4. And then we have 3 and 8. So buffer I is, so 3 plus 8 is 11. 11 plus 7 is 18. 18 mod 10 is 8. And then the next one is between these two, 8 and 2. Plus 7 is 17. 17 mod 10 is 7. And then we have 2 and 9, which is 11. 11 plus this 7 is 18. 18 mod 10 is 8. And this is going to be the last one. And we are dealing with 9 and 4, which is 13. 13 plus 7 is 20. 20 mod 10 is 0. And that should be the entire output of the second question. Alright, I will record the next question in the next video.